And there's a lot of things from not only from my country and my culture, because I always been appreciating my country and my culture and my people, but also from my personal life, from my career, from everything. Things that I now really appreciate more than before. I've been living a lot of new experience. Last 2 years, I met a lot of people from different countries, from different culture, and I had to share my culture and my circunstancia, como que las circunstancias de lo que se vive aquí en Puerto Rico.
Música Latina has taken over the world the last few years, and in 2025, Latin artists such as Raúl Alejandro, Peso Pluma, and Fade have grown into worldwide superstars, with Spanish music consisting more and more of the Billboard Hot 100. There has been one Puerto Rican who stuck out though, and turned into one of the biggest artists in the world, Bad Bunny. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio was born in Bayamón, Puerto Rico in 1994, and he came into the game as a trap artist with hits such as Diles, Soy Peor, and was featured on other popular tracks such as Te Boté and Cardi B's I Like It. After finding early success, he would go on to drop his first studio album, Por Siempre, and launch himself into superstardom. Every album he would come out with would top the last in terms of sales and reach, and it would all crescendo and peak in 2022 with Un Verano Sin Ti, a truly once-in-a-lifetime album which spent 13 weeks to top the Billboard 200. He had captured lightning in a bottle, with the album resonating with an entire generation. It broke multiple records, such as currently being the most streamed album in Spotify history. He followed this in 2023 with Nadie Sabe Lo Que Va a Pasar Mañana, and took over a year-long hiatus from dropping music. He would return in September of 2024 with his single Un Velita, a somber song that I feel was meant for Puerto Rican citizens.
Maria is the first Category 4 to hit there in nearly a century. 150-mile-an-hour winds ripping buildings apart, knocking out power everywhere. All of the electricity is out tonight.
The song coincided with the 7-year anniversary of Hurricane Maria, a disastrous Category 5 storm that decimated the island in 2017 and left some rural areas without power for almost a year. The song's title references Benito using a candle as a source of light during a power outage caused by the storm. The song came at another important time for the people of the island, as it was released around election time. The song brings up constant issues of power outages and urges Puerto Ricans to not be complacent and to demand change in their failing infrastructure. The 2024 gubernatorial race on the island was between Jennifer Gonzalez of the New Progressive Party and Juan Dalmau, member of a new third-party coalition called the Independence Party. Benito urged his supporters to vote for Juan Dalmau, endorsing him and his movement. They opposed Puerto Rico's lack of federal representation and considered disenfranchisement, and Dalmau campaigned against the tax breaks granted to the rich who went to the island. This sudden and drastic change in subject matter may be a surprise to some, but shouldn't be for hardcore fans. Bad Bunny has never been shy to show off his pride of being Puerto Rican, dedicating entire songs to celebrating the culture and people. He's also never been shy of being political, with him talking about the power outages on El Apagón or doing drag in the Yo Perreo Sola music video. Although he would go on to drop another single, El Club, which brings us back to the upbeat Benito we're all used to, Un Velita still gave us a glimpse into the direction Benito was taking us with his new album, which he would release on January 5th.
¿Dónde están los salseros, los salseros? Barranquilla. Chacheo. Si te quieres divertir.
DeBí Tirar Más Fotos is Bad Bunny's most ambitious and personal album yet. After spending Nadie Sabe Lo Que Va a Pasar Mañana flexing and going back to his more materialistic trap side, this album decides to go into a more experimental direction and has an introspective view. He uses all 1 hour and 2 minutes going back and forth from different musical styles, with the production bringing traditional sounds from his island and blending them into salsa and reggaeton hits. He also spends it talking about his personal relationships, his yearning and grieving, and what it means to be Puerto Rican. From the very beginning of the album, he samples Un Verano en Nueva York from El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico y Ande Montañas. He uses the 70s salsa hits to release exactly where Benito wants us, which is right down on the beach sides of Puerto Rico. He mixes the old record into a dembow, starting the album off with a bang. The third track, Baile Inolvidable, is my personal favorite record from the project, and is the first song on the album that takes more of a personal tone. It uses a nostalgic salsa sound to bring us right into the mind of Benito, and he sings about a woman he used to be with him using the expression of a dance to signify that he can't forget about her. He can't find another like her, saying that she was unforgettable. The use of percussion instruments, piano and trumpets create a nostalgic sound that kind of makes you want to dance, even if the lyrics are of a melancholy tone. The group vocals of No te puedo olvidar, no te puedo borrar are so impactful, and his delivery is genuine as he talks about her. Benito has always talked a lot about love, whether it be with the amount of women he gets with, or the fact he can't find anything genuine. He reminisces about old lovers and falls back into old habits with El Club, Friends, and Pitorro de Coco, with him going more in depth with his yearning and struggles overcoming breakups. El Club starts off as a typical upbeat song we've come to expect out of Benito, but it takes a sharp turn as soon as he brings up his ex. He asks what she could possibly be doing, if she's going out, and finally if she's gotten over him. The beginning of this song sounds like a traditional reggaeton, but quickly transitions into this EDM-fused house beat. It's this merging of genres that truly marks growth and innovation out of Benito. He talks about how he still hasn't gotten over her, and about how when he tries to go out and move on, he says it didn't feel the same without her there, but that everyone seems to think he's fine. He claims he's asked God for her back, but he was met with nothing. I don't know why, but I kind of think of this track as one of the record's most important. It perfectly captures the new sound he was going for, mixing plenty of different styles and genres, and the subject matter displays the feelings he had around the time of the conception of the album. He no longer feels the need to go out and try to find something new. He now spends his time reminiscing and thinking about what he could have done differently. In Glow Friends, he talks again about moving on, but he finds himself stalking an ex-lover, with her still having him on her close friend's Instagram story. Seeing that green circle gets his hopes up as he fantasizes about them together. At the end of the track, he talks about the stuff she did with him and why she doesn't do it anymore, such as send him a good morning text or call him right before she sleeps. Pitorro de Coco is one of the last songs on the record that talks about his past relationships, this time with Benito bringing us, the listeners, to the wintertime around Christmas and New Year's. This isn't the first time Benito's used New Year's to signify loss and growth, with him referencing it in Si Veo a Tu Mamá. In Pitorro de Coco, he grieves over the fact another Christmas and New Year's passed by with no contact from his ex. This song brings in old folk sounds like the drums and guitars from typical Jiveras, as he cries out that he didn't get a single call or text from her. He's with his friends, and they laugh and drink as he thinks about her. Benito spends a lot of time thinking about what he could have done differently, but as he gets older and matures, it seems as if he's become more aware of the people around him and the role they have in his life. He accepts the fact that some things change and aren't permanent, such as in Boquete, where he admits a past lover was beautiful, but still lied and hurt him all the same. He says that the girl will regret it in the future, and that he was the realest thing in her life. With him aging, he has to overcome the grief heartbreak comes with and move to the future. The message of love the album delivers is a powerful one, I think. Benito spends a lot of time thinking of the past, but sees it as a lesson almost. Instead of always thinking about what came before or what's to come, he realizes he should probably just try and live in the moment. What he makes from this resolution is what the title track is inspired from, DeBí tirar más fotos, or I should take more photos. He uses photos as an analogy of the present, about how he should take more to appreciate the little things in life as he experiences them. This is perfectly encapsulated with the album cover art, with it being two chairs sitting in the foliage in a rural part of Puerto Rico. I think it symbolizes two people having a conversation, not about anything serious in particular, just enjoying each other's time and living in the moment. It's a picture that I think brings some of that nostalgic and welcoming feeling to Latinos listening everywhere. Although love has always been a big talking point for Bad Bunny, this album brings in another element that takes this great album and propels it into one of the best in a while, and that is with his inclusion of the issues battling Puerto Rico today and his cry for Puerto Ricans to be more prideful in where they come from.
Las fotos son momentos vividos, recuerdos de cosas que pasaron. Yo no era de estar tirando fotos por ahí, ni estar subiendo stories, ni nada de eso. Yo decía que era mejor vivir el momento. Pero cuando llegas a esta edad, recordar no es tan fácil. Debí tirar más fotos, haber vivido más. Debí haber amado más cuando pude.
Before the release of his album, Benito released a short film by the same name onto YouTube on January 3rd. It follows an old man and his little frog buddy Concho, with the old man starting by explaining to Concho why he wishes he took more photos of the past, with them helping him remember the memories. The rest of the short film involves the old man going to un panaderia for food for Concho and himself, but it's much deeper than that. On the way there, the old man passes through a neighborhood with English speakers having a grill, with their dog barking at him. Once he does reach the panaderia, he is met with an American cashier taking his order in English, and with him struggling to explain to her what exactly he wants. The encounter ends with him not being able to pay for his food, as they only take contactless payments. Fortunately for him, someone nearby was listening and is able to pay for his food with his card. The local tells the old man que seguimos aquí as he gets his food. He brings him back to Concho as they comfortably eat. While some may see this as just a nice short about an old man and his little frog buddy, there's another underlying theme of the gentrification and romanticization of Puerto Rico. From the American people giving him weird looks to the lady at the register, there's a growing number of US citizens moving to Puerto Rico who look to enjoy the beauty of the island year-round. Benito is aware of this change of the island and spends the album telling his people to not let what it means to be Puerto Rican slip away and disappear. This starts with the vinyl of the album where, on the backside it reads, "This project is dedicated to all Puerto Ricans around the world." In the visualizers of the songs he has on his YouTube, he has text that informs us of the history of the island, something he did in collaboration with Jorel Melendez Vadillo, assistant professor of Latin American and Caribbean history at the University of Wisconsin. In every corner of this album's inception, he wants the listener to know who it's made for and what he wants out of them. He spends plenty of songs talking about the beauty of the island, like Voy a llevarte pa' PR, Vueltita, and Café con Ron. But throughout each song, he subliminally hides messages that are initially interpreted as him speaking of an ex-lover, but if you look further into it, you can see he's really talking about the island of Puerto Rico, such as in Turista. He talks about the person, in this case, US citizens moving there, being a tourist in his, or in this case, the island's life, and only seeing the beauty on the outside without acknowledging all of the suffering and pain they've gone through. He said that the person left without knowing the reason for their wounds, only wanting to come for a good time. In the music video, I think he uses the analogy of him being a part of a cleaning service for an Airbnb for Puerto Ricans having to always be second to Americans' pleasure. American citizens go and have their way with the island with no regard for the people actually living there, as Benito has to clean up the mess they've made. The video ends with another American couple coming to enjoy the Airbnb after Benito spent the entire day cleaning it up. The subliminal messages continue with Benito being a bit more on the nose on lo que le pasó a Hawaii. He starts the song talking about a woman who looks beautiful on the outside and smiles though something is wrong. He then says that the jibaros, or rural Puerto Ricans who live in the countryside and work on agriculture, are being pushed out by the corrupt ones. The chorus of the song builds on this as he says that they want to take their river and beach, and he urges Puerto Ricans to not let go of their flags as he doesn't want what happened to Hawaii to happen to his island. The story of Hawaii starts in 1778, where James Cook, a British soldier and explorer, had sailed to the islands multiple times until he was killed after native Hawaiians took one of his ships and engaged in a fight with him. After this, a young soldier named Kamehameha took the European weapons and went around to all of the islands, uniting them all under one kingdom. In 1820, missionaries from the West came to the islands to spread Christianity and English culture, but unknowingly brought diseases along with them that killed thousands of the natives. Because of the tropical climate, cheap labor from the native Hawaiians and Asian immigrants, the missionaries decided to take advantage of this and worked with Kamehameha to come to an agreement that gives native Hawaiians some land in exchange for their cheap labor and land for the Englishmen. The British military didn't like this deal for the natives, so they made the people sign the Great Mahele, which divided Hawaii up into 3 factions, which was a third of the land for the crown, a third of the land for the chiefs, and a third of the land for the people. This was meant to protect the native Hawaiians, but Americans around this time were finding Hawaii very appealing. So in 1887, the Reform Party of the island, which consisted mostly of white Americans, overthrew the government and forced the king to sign the Bayonet Constitution, which was the most detrimental policy against Native Hawaiians. It stole the land rights of the people, stripped the king of his powers, and granted voting rights to landowners, which were predominantly white Americans. This all led to Hawaii becoming a U.S. territory in 1898 and an official state in 1959. It took so long because the people of Congress didn't initially want Asian immigrants or Pacific Islanders to be part of the House. It wasn't until 1993 where the U.S. and President Bill Clinton offered an official apology to the island of Hawaii, but the damage was already done. The influx of American immigrants caused the island to be stripped of its identity, and although there are still plenty of Native Hawaiians who celebrate their culture and are proud of where they come from, it still doesn't stop the island from being a popular tourist destination for Americans to visit and move to. Puerto Rico was made a U.S. territory in 1898 after the Spanish ceded the island following the Spanish-American War. It's always been a popular spot for tourism, but in 2012, the government of the island enacted Act 22, which has been enticing wealthy Americans with the opportunity to move there and pay zero taxes on interest, dividends, capital gains, or crypto assets. This, of course, propelled many rich Americans to move to the island as they can retain their U.S. citizenship while enjoying the tropical climate year-round. This has caused a wave of displacement of the native people of the island and the gentrification of urban areas. This brings us back to Benito, as he pleads with the people to not let go of their flags and to not let themselves be pushed out of their homes. The album finally reaches its conclusion with La Mudanza, which translates to the move, a double entendre referring to both how his parents met and the movement of people from the island. He starts the song with an a cappella, recounting the story of how both his mother and father met, which was when his father Benito helped Tonito with a move and met Lisi. The song then takes on a salsa rhythm, as we've seen Benito take traditional sounds from his island throughout the album, and spends the rest of the record thanking his parents and one last time declaring his pride of being Puerto Rican. The song ends with him in a crowd saying that no one will kick them out of there and that it's where his grandfather was born. They all exclaim they are from PR as the trumpets and drums crescendo to the end.
De aquí nadie me saca, de aquí yo no me muevo. Dile que esta es mi casa, donde nació mi abuelo. De aquí nadie me saca, de aquí yo no me muevo. Dile que esta es mi casa, donde nació mi abuelo. Yo soy de Puerto.
This project is more than a fun addition to the discography of Bad Bunny. It's an act of retaliation, of rebellion. The ever-changing landscape of Puerto Rico has caused him and countless other people strife, and spends the album not only giving us another insight as to how he deals with love, but he brings us a genuine and nostalgic sound, all while urging his people to stay strong and to never forget who they are. Hey everyone, thanks if you made it this far for watching the entire video. Hope you guys enjoyed. This album is just something that, meant a lot to me. It's been in my rotation constantly every single day. And yeah, if you enjoyed, just make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. Maybe comment your favorite song if you have a favorite moment on the album, favorite lyric, favorite anything about the album. Just let me know in the comments, and if you want me to go over something else, another genre, another artist, another album, another song, just let me know in the comments as well. I kind of already have in mind of the video essays I want to do in the future, but if you have any suggestions, just make sure to leave them down below. And again, make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching.